So for decades, there's been a debate over whether the U.S. should pay reparations to descendants of slaves. Now, it's a 2020 campaign issue.
Several candidates have actually gone on the popular radio show The Breakfast Club to address the issue. In a new interview, I talked to the show's co-host, Charlemagne the God, about what he thinks.
I mean, for people to act like reparations is such a far-fetched thing is crazy. Because if you were working for a company and you worked for that company for free for a long period of time, you would probably want back pay, you know, because of all the work that you put in. And then you got, you know, Jim Crow segregation, and you have mass incarceration. You have all of these things that were systemically done to black people to oppress them, to marginalize them. And we wonder why there's so many there's such a socioeconomic gap now between black people and white people. It's because of that. It's because of those policies that America implemented. It's because of that free labor we put in, you know, free labor that we were forced to do that helped build this country.
So CBS, with the question of reparations, decided not to go ask an economic expert, a black lawyer, a black politician. No, see, this is... All right. So this guy here, his name is Charlemagne the God. Now you would ask yourself why a pro-wokety woke black dude would name himself Charlemagne. And see, you would think it's like, you know, like the rappers who call themselves Gotti or, you know, whatever, fucking name themselves after some badass mobster. You would be wrong, all right? Because people like Charlemagne and the individuals in his community actually think that these people were black. Let me show you.
All right, he was a man of many trades. Now, he did not come from noble birth, but because of his great confidence, he was able to gain a great deal of prominence. But you know, we'll touch on these things as we go on. This statue, it seems to be based on a something that probably was relatively accurate. You see the hair, it looked like they probably just changed it up a little bit. The statue was definitely remodeled, but at some point it probably looked more like a so-called black man. Shakespeare, by the way, was a so-called black man.
Really? Are you fucking serious right now?
All right, for those who don't know, Shakespeare was a so-called black man.
Oh, cool. I was just making sure, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, you was being serious about what you was saying. You know what I mean? I got you. But anyway, right. So this is what happens when you ghettoize a fucking people and leave them there for 50 or 60 fucking years. They come up with some crazy, ridiculous, retarded ideas. Legitimately. You know what I mean? This is like what happens when you let somebody have a library and then don't correct them about any of the shit that they fucking ask. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you need to have people there to ask questions of. It's fucking important that you have this. But let's get to the reparations question. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, because through our whole lives, we heard this 40 acres and a mule, right? And, you know, the federal government never really actually promised 40 acres and a mule. Not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would think like Congress passed a bill that's mandated that black people who used to be slaves got 40 acres and a mule. Not the deal, all right? That's not the deal at all. What happened is William Tecumseh, fucking Sherman, stood there and passed out these, he made these like field regulations, right? Which was like field regulation number 15 was that all black slaves would get 40 acres and a mule. And then they got approved by Lincoln. There was no Congress that passed this. There was no like actual like way of doing this legally. This was done through, I guess it would be like a war powers type of act would be the situation, right? And now, don't get anything misunderstood, all right? Like, I understand that slavery was a horrible fucking thing and it shouldn't have happened, you know what I mean? But it did happen. And yes, black people sold themselves into slavery. Before us, it was the Arabians who had them in slavery. And the Arabians did them even worse because they castrated every last one of the motherfuckers so they didn't end up with a whole bunch of black people running around and have this problem today, right? Well, they do. They have it in a place called Yemen, and they're currently bombing it the fuck out. Now, also, with that being said, most of those black cities that these wokety woke motherfuckers talk about were actually built by Arabians, not by fucking blacks. And the white people who destroyed them were not at war with the blacks. They were at war with the motherfucking Arabians. So it's a whole different animal. But in the meantime, right, there are solutions to this problem, because I really am getting fucking tired of having this goddamn argument. Legit, I'm getting sick and fucking tired of constantly having this conversation over and over and over and over and over again. Look, why don't we just have a black country? All right. And I'm going to explain my mentality behind this, right? See, we already, I already said that I think we should have, like a fucking bunch of, like, we should separate out California, Oregon, Washington, and the Northeast, right? And also trebuchet that fucking communist mayor back in the fucking, the left coast where they belong. But also, I do think we should put in a black country, right? And in doing so, here's the deal. Black people feel as though they never really actually made a choice to become Americans, right? Which is kind of true in a fucking way, right? They never actually made a conscious choice to come here. Some of them, all right? Because there is a growing number of the black population who is coming here from Africa today who did make a conscious choice to come here. But those who didn't, I do believe, should be forced to go back to their own country, right? Not Africa, like the place here in America, because they don't speak African, you know what I mean? And it's been 300 years. They really don't have any roots there anymore. So I understand what the situation is. I'm not going to say go trapping with lions and wildebeest and hyenas and shit. No. But I do think we should set some states aside, right? And to go here, like y'all live here for a while, all right? And if you want to come back to the United States, you apply for citizenship, all right? And then you come back. And you're not allowed to complain anymore. And at that point, you're a U.S. citizen because you chose to be one. And I think that's a better way of doing things, legitimately. Now, as far as like how that country gets run, up in the air, you know what I mean? Like, I do believe it should be a libertarian ideology, but it's probably going to be more of a Christian socialist ideology, and they're probably going to pass around more of the nonsense of white people being fucking black from Europe. But, it is what it is. But in the meantime, man, I wanted to bring this out, and all my thoughts on reparations and where it should really go to, because we can't afford just to be giving individuals free shit. But to break up this country, I think is something that's a necessity at this point, because we can't keep going in this manner. We can't keep doing it. It just is what it is. In the meantime, man, it's Tom P's of Pnoid News. Make sure you hit that backup channel. I'll put a link in the description for you. And because we just came back from a 7-day ban from YouTube. And be thankful that they only gave us a 7-day ban. I thought it was going to be 3 fucking months. I was getting goddamn concerned, like, fuck it, this channel's dead. It is what it is. But yo, this is Tom P's. Y'all know the situation. Peace be like one. Later.